Here we go. Welcome back to another TC Live. This is the Transaction Care YouTube channel, and my name is Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lily like the flower because we're learning and growing together. So, on today's live, there's a lot to talk about because this week, this month, honestly, the rest of this year, you're going to see a lot of changes to disclosures, the way real estate works. And although this is not legal advice, I am not an attorney. I am not the law. I am not a broker, but I do have my real estate license. I have been a real estate transaction coordinator working in the real estate industry for 20 plus years. And this is just me sharing my perspective, my thoughts, and my interest in what is happening. So always fact check, always do your due diligence, always research on your own, because that is the key to success, is doing your own research as well as taking the time out to learn the process. And reading is fundamental. Learning is precious and important. So with all of that said, I'm also going to be working as well, and as we get more people in here, but I'm live on TikTok as well as YouTube. So if you aren't following me on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok. And if you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube because I'm currently live right now on both. And if you have any questions regarding what's going on in real estate, or if you want to just work together and you have any general questions, let me know. We can talk about them because there's a lot happening in the world. There's a lot happening in business, in real estate. And I'm just here to serve as a guide, a resource, a leader, and share my thoughts on what's happening and taking it from there. Because again, do your own due diligence, do your own research, do your own fact checking. I'm not a broker. I'm not an attorney, but I am a friend in the industry that wants to help, that wants to provide the proper guidance and energy that I can with you all. I go live every Tuesday. That is the schedule for now until we continue to grow. We're actually almost at 1,000 subscribers. Almost at 1,000 followers here on TikTok, which is really cool. I feel like going live has made a big difference because I get to meet you all and talk to you guys and answer any questions that you have. So if you have any questions or you just want to say hello, go ahead and say hello in the chat. I promise you, I won't call you out. I'll just say hello. And let me fix my light because it is dark in here. And I just bought some curtains. So I know my office kind of looks very bare right now. But I just bought some curtains. So I'll probably do an office tour vlog for not next week, but in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. How is that now? How come that looks worse? How about this? Oh, I think it's too much light. And if anyone does any like home decorating stuff, has any ideas of what to do with these chain lights, let me know. I don't like them, but it is what it is. I might just spray paint it white so it doesn't stand out so much, or maybe like a different color, maybe like a blue or a red or something like that. But for now, I actually have to work on a disclosure packet. So we're going to do that. And let's see, if you are starting out as a real estate transaction coordinator and you're wanting to get into this industry, just know this isn't like a fill in the blank, I can hop in and do this job type of job. And if you want to do it as a business, that's even more footwork and even more steps, because having a job in an industry is one element, but then running it as a business is a whole other element. Believe me, because I had a 9-to-5 for almost 15 years. And when I got into the business of working for myself, it was a whole different ballgame. I promise you, like running a business is completely different from a 9-to-5 or a job. And I know a lot of people want time freedom, location independence, work-life balance, whatever that means to you. Honestly, those are just buzzwords for people to just say, I want to work from home in my pajamas. I want to work from home without a bra on. Oh my God, can you guys hear me? My mic is way over here. I forget. But either way, it's important to be organized and forgive that mess if you're on YouTube. I'm still working on this corner of my office. As you know, I'm redecorating it, but If you are interested in running a business or starting a real estate business, because just know whether you become a realtor or you become a transaction coordinator or anyone that works within the real estate industry, many of us are independent contractors. So that means you are self-employed, you're not guaranteed a check for the work that you do. So be mindful of that if you're someone interested in becoming a realtor or a real estate transaction coordinator, that you have to embrace that entrepreneurial mindset, that entrepreneurial lifestyle, and always be working on your craft, always be working on yourself, always be learning, always be updating your files, your systems, your disclosures. Because right now, like I mentioned earlier, especially here in California, I'm based in San Francisco specifically, but in the state of California, we are very strict when it comes to disclosures. There's a disclosure for everything. There's a disclosure for taking photos. There's a disclosure for social media. There's a disclosure for parking. There's a disclosure for storage. There's disclosures for everything. And right now, what the industry is going through in terms of changes is really serious. It's regarding the commissions and pay and things of that nature. So if you're not updating your systems, and as of today, a lot of brand new forms have come out, many of which I'm still learning about, many of which I still have to update on my own personal checklist. But either way, I thought I would come on here and answer any questions you guys might have about real estate or how to start a real estate business, because it takes a lot of time and energy. And if you have someone that's already doing it there to guide you or at least point you in the right direction, I'm willing to be that for you all. So shout out to everyone joining. Shout out to everyone here. I see you guys coming in and out, which is awesome. Please double tap that screen so we can get more people in the live and in the chat, because I really think it's vital to have a person, a resource in this industry that can help you out. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one with me, DM me or DM me and we can get something on the calendar. I'll send you my link to my calendar. What's better, bookkeeping or transaction coordination? Honestly, it's two different jobs. Two completely different jobs. What are you most skilled at? What are you most aligned with? Because I feel like for anyone that's in the process of pivoting careers or changing careers or starting a business, you have to know yourself first. What are you most interested in? What are you most skilled at? Like your skills, then your personality. Are you going to do this as a job or a business? How do you want to approach this next step? It's not a matter of what's better. It's a matter of what's better for you. Because I may say transaction coordination, but honestly, I have no idea the ins and outs of bookkeeping. I think it has something to do with a lot of accounting and numbers, whereas transaction coordination, it's a lot of management with disclosures, contractual items, inspections, working with a lot of people, whether it's via email, phone, call, text, in person. You're interacting with a group of people all at once. So bookkeeping might be a little bit more behind the scenes. So it's just a matter of like, what is better to you? What is better suited for you in the life that you desire from, what do you want out of this job? And building, kind of reverse engineering it from there. So I hope that helps your question. And the question was, what's better, bookkeeping or transaction coordinator? So shout out to everyone joining. We're just talking about business, real estate, and I'm answering questions. I'm also live here. Hey guys, we're live over here too. So if you're watching the replay, I appreciate you. Drop any questions. Someone asked what's better, bookkeeping or transaction coordination. And you're welcome, Maria. If you have any other questions, go ahead and drop them in. Glad to help. Maria, if you're still here, what are you most interested in, or what are you most skilled at or willing to learn in order to just make that decision, if that's the kind of the predicament that you're in right now? Because it could be difficult to invest a lot of time into a career or a job and feel like you've wasted your time. If you want to get out of it, you end up staying. I don't think that's the most healthiest. I think if you're ready to get out of a situation, that you should just go. There's no time wasted. There's no life wasted. It's that season and that chapter is done. No matter how good a book is, rereading it, you may find new things out of it, but it's not going to change the ending. So sometimes you just have to rewrite your own story. And when it comes to your career and picking a career, it comes down to like, why do you want to do this? Who are you in this job? Who are you in this role? And how do you want, what are the benefits for you in your life, your schedule, your family, your friends? What are your priorities? And basing your job and your careers around those certain elements, because it's not always, about the money. It's not always about picking a job because you get to work from home. Yeah, I work from home, but as a business owner, as someone that's self-employed, I don't have to work around the clock, but I'm always thinking of different ways to market myself, to make money, to get creative, when the market is slow or when business is slow or when I'm not in the mood to do it. You know what I mean? So let's see. Hi, Ronnie. Is it better to take a training class when you start, or is it better to learn while processing? I'm going to assume this is for transaction coordination, but I'm going to say both, because no matter how many classes I've taken, a majority of what I've learned has been through doing it. But having the structure from the classes I've taken or any trainings I've attended, they provide me with the structure, whereas like learning it is actually like, being thrown in a pool per se and having to put into the process what you've actually learned. Because it's like also driving. Like you could watch all the videos of how to drive or how to ride a motorcycle, but it's not going to really, what you've learned or what you actually have processed and understood isn't really going to show itself until you actually put into action what you're doing. But I will say, me getting into transaction coordination 15, 20 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. I was just kind of learning as I was going. I was an office assistant to 2 transaction coordinators, and they just so happened to quit on the spot. And I stepped up as a young 20-year-old and was like, hey, I could do their job. I had no idea what I was doing. And I just went with it. And I'm to this day, 20 years later, I'm still learning about the process because as of today, honestly, this month, there's a lot changing with real estate, especially here in California. So the way we have always done real estate is literally changing and unfolding as we go. Thank you, Moon. I appreciate that. Go ahead and double tap the screen so we can get more people in here. What part of the Bay are you from, Moon? But Ronnie, what classes are you interested in taking? I'm curious to know. Yeah, it's not easy, and if you need support, go ahead and follow me. I have a Patreon where I just launched my Patreon, kind of soft launched it. I'm going to officially launch it in August because I feel like a lot of newer TCs need that support. It's not really like full on training, but I'm giving you guys basically my templates. Right now, the first 10 people get it for $7 a month. And then after we get 10 people into the Patreon, it's just $10 a month after that. And I'll probably do more like exclusive lives or discounts on like longer one-on-one sessions. Yeah, Ronnie. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one with me just to kind of make sense of some of your thoughts, you can go ahead and schedule a discovery call with me. Just send me a DM. I don't know if you follow me already, but that way, whatever's not making sense, we can kind of make sense of it as time goes on. You know what I mean? Because I definitely don't want to feel like you're alone in this situation. And that's why I have my platform. That's why I have like my YouTube. I'm live on YouTube and I'm live here on TikTok. I should probably move it so I don't have to look back and forth. But sorry guys, let me move my phone. There we go. That's a little better. But basically, yeah, the car CTC, which is California Association of Realtors Certified Transaction Coordinator course. So basically in California, for those that are not aware, who may watch the replay here on YouTube, if you want to become a transaction coordinator in California, it's not required, but there is a course to take. I've taken it, so I'm a CTC. I'm a certified certification. I'm a certified transaction coordinator in California. I also have my real estate license, and the classes are great, but they don't really break down the ins and outs of managing a transaction line for line, item for item. It doesn't really go over managing different personalities or managing when you feel intimidated. It doesn't go over managing emotions. Not that we have to manage people's emotions or feelings or thoughts, but it's a part of the job that it just happens, right? It doesn't really teach you how to set boundaries. It doesn't teach you how to get over imposter syndrome. It doesn't really give you that support that you need when, like, you feel like your back is up against the wall and you feel like, well, I'm supposed to know this. So I don't want to, again, look like an imposter and say, I don't know how to do this, because you're afraid to get fired or whatnot. And for me, I learned that even with 20 years of experience, it's okay to say, I don't know, but there are other ways to reframe and say, I don't know, without saying, I don't know. So for instance, like if you are struggling with a certain type of property that you've never worked on, be honest and say, hey, this is my first time working on a multi-family home. This is my first transaction working on vacant land, right? Which are very rare anyway. I don't have that much experience with them. So when I do encounter transactions like that, I'm working extra closely with my realtors. 1031 exchange, exactly. So I'm working extra close with my realtors because they're technically the ones in charge of this whole operation under their broker, obviously. But when it comes to files or transactions that I'm unfamiliar with, I'm working, again, very closely to my realtors. I let them know what I'm doing. I ask them to guide me, or if there's any additional information that I need, because even as transaction coordinators, we have a big responsibility to maintain these transactions, keep them in compliance, making sure that all parties are satisfied and everyone's has clear communication with each other. But when it comes down to it, we don't have to bear all of the responsibility. I always liken the whole process to like a basketball team. Real quick, let me see. Shout out to San Jose, Moon, if you're still in here. So for instance, if you're a transaction coordinator, right? I liken it to a basketball team, like a starting five. So you have your point guard, which is your realtor, or your coach, which is the broker. And then you have your point guard, which is the realtor. And then the realtor is facilitating this whole process between these other parties. So then you have your escrow title officer, which is like another guard. Now I'm kind of talking basketball and real estate, but then you have your bigs, like your transaction coordinator, your lenders, and inspectors. All right. So imagine those are your starting five. And if one isn't working with the other, it's going to fall apart. So although TCs have a large responsibility, when you really think about it, at the end of the day, it's the realtors and the brokers transaction. We're kind of just like a third party coming in this, but we're still a part of the team. And when it comes to different types of transactions or properties, learning them as you go is a part of it. When it comes to 1031 exchange, it basically just means that the seller is using the funds to purchase another property, so they don't have to kind of lose I think I'm like blanking right now, but basically until the seller secures another property, then that original home can sell. Tax gains. Thank you. See, I'm not an accountant. I'm not I'm not a bookkeeper, an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor. I just haven't done a 1031 exchange in so long. So my brain was kind of like, whoa, where did we go again? But again, see, even with 20 years of experience, even I get rusty. I get, I forget, but it doesn't mean that I'm just going to give up. There's Google, there's you guys. Like, thank you, Ronnie, for backing me up right there on the spot. It's definitely for tax purposes. It's a loophole, financially for owners and of protecting their assets. So thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that. So yeah, once I relieved myself of that pressure of feeling like I have to know everything, or that I am going to lose my job if I don't know how to do something. That's why we have, managing brokers. The brokers, you can also always include the brokers. Most big companies and brokerages will have a compliance department. Learn who those people are and add them to your contacts. Yeah, Ronnie. Yeah, stay in touch. Send me a DM. We could get on a quick one-on-one, like 20 minutes or something. And if you want to join the Patreon, it's there. I can't share links on here for some reason, but just DM me and I'll share it with you. It's up to you if you want to join or not. But I go live every Tuesday and we talk about stuff like this, just to provide clarity. That's kind of the outcome I want out of this, is for you all to feel like I'm providing value, education, maybe a little entertainment, because I think I'm kind of funny as well. But ultimately, just more clarity, because I know how intimidating and overwhelming it can get when you're first starting out. You know what I mean? And kind of providing some ease to you all in that process of starting your businesses or starting a new career in real estate. So reach out. Hit the follow button. And we are almost at 1,000 followers. That's so cool to me, because I almost gave up on TikTok. And TikTok has been one of my greatest assets in terms of building community. Because right now that's my goal, is just like continuously building my community, reaching out to you guys and wanting to know what topics you want me to talk about. Because I would say for about a year and a half, I was just creating content out of like just assuming like, oh, they'll want to learn about this. They'll want to learn about this or that. And then when I was actually talking to you guys directly, it turned out like, oh, there was something completely different. So it helps, when you guys drop comments, or sometimes you guys just need reassurance, and that's okay. Because I know I do. When I first started out, I quit my job in 2018, and I still had that 9-to-5 mindset versus quitting my job and knowing like how to run a business. I did not know. Like that part of it is still unfolding, but the journey from 9-to-5 into being self-employed, entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, whatever you want to call it, aligns with me personally. Like my personality, I'm built for it. And not everyone is built to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is built to run their own business, So I definitely want to encourage people to choose work and to choose a career path that aligns not just with your skills, but with your personality. You know what I mean? And it's okay if you invest time in something and you realize this is not for you. You didn't waste any time. If anything, you just learned yourself better, which would make you more of an asset. So, do I have a piece of skin right there? But ultimately, like the it's a balancing game sometimes when running a business and trying to get a job done. When you're the only person doing the work, managing it, hiring, firing, marketing, all of that stuff. So I encourage you guys to reach out to me, watch my content. I have a podcast. I'm on YouTube as well. I love going live and getting to meet you all personally. So if you have any questions regarding any of the form updates, what's going on with the market, I'm willing to share what I've learned or what I'm actively learning, because I just attended a meeting this morning about the new form updates and what is going to be required, when like the certain order forms need to be distributed and signed. Like, it's very technical. It's very technical stuff. And if you don't follow along the right steps, it can get you in a lot of trouble. And one thing we don't want to get in is trouble. So, but basically this morning we were talking about, and I'm still learning all the acronyms because I was getting so confused. But there's like the seller to pay buyer broker form, the BRBC form, the disclosure and modification to listing agreement form. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Ronnie. Let me pin. Can I pin that? I'm gonna pin that. I think I could pin it for like a minute. Ronnie, I appreciate you. Yeah, like why? It's not my job to judge because everyone's definition of success is different. We're all trying to get the same job done. We're all trying to stay out of trouble. And I don't want to. My whole slogan is, I'm giving you the keys. There are no gatekeepers here. And the only reason I created the Patreon was because there is an exclusive group of people that don't want to be judged, but also may not be comfortable, talking about these things publicly, or maybe they are also seeking community, because the Patreon is not just for me to talk at you guys. It's to talk with you all. It's to help you meet each other along the way and just say, oh my God, me and so are in the same state, or me and so are in the same city, and maybe one day we could do like a big meetup. But for now, I really enjoy interacting with you guys here, because I remember how I was when I first started and not having anyone available to ask questions, or even to just express my feelings of like, oh my God, I'm way in over my head. This is too difficult. They keep yelling at me, or, oh my God, I'm having an amazing time. I'm so glad I pursued this. Sometimes we just need to be heard. And, if I can do that for someone, then I feel good, So I appreciate the shout out, Ronnie, and the love. It goes a long way. Like, that really feeds me and keeps me motivated and it's like confirmation that, like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Because there's some moments where I'm just like, what do I do now? Because after working in real estate for so long, I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I'm still in the files, but I feel like my heart and what I'm supposed to be doing is more of this, but then how do I manage it, but also make money, because I have to be real with myself. Like, I have to make some type of money, that's, but I also trust that what I put out is going to come back to me tenfold in some way, shape, or form. And I just have to be disciplined and committed and convicted that, like, this is the path I'm supposed to be on, and it's worth it. And it absolutely is. You know what I mean? I have a good time coming on here and talking to you guys and, sharing our experiences together, because it's a lot. It's a lot. And when people want to get into transaction coordination, they ask me like, oh, how do I do it? And they think it's going to be like a 5-minute conversation. And then when I sit down with them for 20 minutes and the first 15 minutes has nothing to do with real estate, they're kind of like, well, what do I do now? And I'm like, well, it just sounds like you have a lot of work to do on yourself before you just quit your job to be a TC, because are you willing to not make money the first 6 months, even a year? What are you doing right now to prepare yourself? And some people are going to just take that risk and they're just going to jump off, and just do it blindly. And I commend you, because I was once in that position, but I had my savings to back me up, because the whole financial aspect of it all is like, if this were all to fall apart, or if I was to fall apart, can I support myself? And I've gone through cycles of like all the money, no money, a little bit of money, enough money. It's this is like this never ending. I mean, I guess it could end, obviously, if you just learn how to save, learn how to invest, heal any like trauma wounds surrounding money and building your relationship with money, because that's a big part of it too, is like financial literacy and managing your money properly, but not in a way that's going to hurt you. So for instance, right now I'm in the process of paying down a bunch of debt that I that added up over the last year and a half due to like a medical procedure, a course I took, like a 6-month life coaching certification program. And then business was really quiet and slow last year. And I also didn't do any marketing last year. So I racked up some credit card debt just to stay afloat. So this year I've been focusing on paying down my debt, right? And I'm learning more about myself and my relationship to money through paying off my debt. And I'm learning that it's not just paying the bill every month, but it's more so what are my thoughts around money and why. Oh my God, Abby, thank you so much. Oh, look at that. Thank you for the roses. But can you gain financial freedom if you're smart and work hard at this? Let's see. Yeah. So financial freedom is like, what is that for you? My definition of financial freedom is going to be different from yours. You know what I mean? Because financial freedom, it starts up here, first of all, like not being this kind of like slave to money or the thought of like money, right? Debt free. Okay. You know what? Yeah, debt free is definitely like a process in this, that like I think we should all be debt free. I wish that for everyone. I wish none of us had debt. And I don't want to get into the conversation of good debt versus bad debt, right? Because you may buy a house tomorrow and then you're back in debt, right? But that some people would consider that good debt. But it's still technically a liability if you have to pay it every month and you're on the verge of missing a payment. Things happen, right? So it's more so a matter of like, what are your priorities first? How much do you need to make at the bare minimum to survive, right? Not including like the added things like if you were to sell your car, like there's like so many different things that can decrease your monthly expenses. So what I'm doing right now, and again, I can only speak for myself. So if this makes sense, let me know. If it doesn't make sense, go ahead and ask questions. But I started off this year thinking like, I need to be debt free. I need to be debt free, right? And that's still a goal. That is still the goal, like to be debt free. But something happened where I was like, okay, I'm paying these credit cards down, and then, oh snap, something happened. I had to go swipe the card. And then it's like, damn, I just knocked myself off of like this mountain that I was climbing, right? So I would just like kind of be in this vicious cycle of like putting money in the cards and then like reusing them. It was so bad. And then I started following like TikTok accounts of people like paying their debt off and like people listing out things on how to pay debt. And there was one video I saw actually like 2-3 weeks ago. And she was like, pay your debts down, right? If you have more than one, like if it's credit card debt or whatever the case, but if you have more than one debt, list them all out. Which one is like kind of taking the most money from you in terms of like interest rates, right? But then also, how are you doing with saving money, right? Because what I realized I was doing, I was so focused on the debt, I was not focused on my actual savings and my cushion. So I started making these smaller goals for myself. I was like, okay, I opened a SoFi account, which is my high yield savings account, and it was free, right? So I opened that up and I set a goal. I was like, you know what? Because in my mind, I was like, if I don't save $10,000 in 6 months, I'm poor. It's unrealistic, And for me, I'm like, I don't want to work that hard. I just want to make enough money, and then the months where I can make more, that's great. But right now I just need to settle down and calm down and get all of this, get a clear vision of what I'm dealing with, right? So at the bare minimum, I started with like, what is the least amount of money I need to make, because I'm self-employed. So I do not have a fixed income. So I get money from all sorts of things, transaction coordination. I have a Poshmark store, you know what I mean? I just launched Patreon. Even going live, like someone just sent me roses. I think that's worth something. I don't know. I'm still learning this whole TikTok live situation, but basically, uh okay, let me start over. So I listed out all of my money. I did a whole audit of like, where's my money going and why do I not have enough at the end of the month? What happened between here and here? And you have to be honest with yourself. It is emotional, and it took me about 2 weeks to really just like figure it all out. And essentially what it came down to was like, okay, these are the two credit cards I want to focus on. The smallest one was like a $500 credit card, right? Pretty straightforward. But then the other credit card is like $5,000, and that interest rate is at like 27%, because I didn't pay it within the first year where it was like 0% APR. So I was like, okay, that's clearly taking a big chunk of my money. But at the same time, I need to rebuild my savings that isn't, the savings that's in like the stock market, because I also have investments. So I was like, I actually don't have like a regular savings or an emergency fund. Let me start bulking that up. So my goal right now is just little by little. Let me just get to $200 in my high yield savings account, so I could get these like small wins on my side, so it doesn't feel like I'm almost like self-sabotaging myself, creating these large mountains of, I have to be debt free. I have to save this much in order to feel worthy. I have to be debt free in order to feel worthy. Junior, what's up? Oh my God. Shout out to you for the bouquet of roses. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Junior, if you have any questions, thoughts, you want to share some wins, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the roses. So much love. I appreciate that. So once I started saving for me and making that the priority, my mind, my confidence, my relationship with money just started like increasing. Like my self-esteem felt better, because when I was paying the credit cards down and then within seconds, like spending a couple $100 and it went back up, I would feel so down. Whereas like, okay, instead of like this, the debt's, it's going to get paid, it's going to get paid at the pace in which I'm making money, but I need to bulk up my savings. You know what I mean? I need to bulk up my emergency fund. I need to bulk up my fund money. Whatever it is for you, bulk up, make sure you're also putting money aside for you somewhere where you won't see it, where it could just grow, but also create smaller goals for yourself so you can celebrate these smaller wins along the way as you get towards becoming debt free. It's not going to happen overnight unless you win the lottery, or you inherit like a lump sum of money. But even then you'll realize like, the debt's not as bad. I think I want to invest most of this money into the stock market, or to buy a house, or to buy an appreciating asset, versus just throwing it back into the debt. But I've never worked on myself and my relationship with money, and then I'm back in debt in 6 months. You know what I mean? So right now I think that's why the cycle keeps happening, is because I'm still relearning my relationship with money, and what are my priorities? Who are my priorities? What are my boundaries with money? What am I willing to say yes or no to? Because it's when I start spending money outside of those priorities is when I start to feel like down about money, if that makes sense. Yes, every day above earth is a good day. No, it is an amazing, blessed day. I'll give you that. How about that? It is an amazing, blessed day. I appreciate that because it's true. It's so true. My other slogan is life is a blessing. As soon as I wake up, thank you God for another day because we're out here. We're out here just trying to live, just trying to have fun and build community, add each other, talk to each other because we need to uplift and encourage each other when it comes down to it. The job is going to get done, the work is going to get done, but you got to make sure you're having fun. You're connecting with people that or at least on the same wavelengths. You guys don't have to be exactly the same or like-minded. It's more so just like, you got this, you can do this. And then when it comes to becoming debt free, it's more so just like being debt free up here. I've come to terms with, like, it's not debt free I'm seeking. It's the financial freedom of not being bound to the debt or the debt becoming my identity. You're welcome, Ronnie. Have a great day. Have an amazing day. Reach out anytime. Hit my DMs. We'll get on like a quick one-on-one. But have a great rest of your day, Ronnie. I appreciate you. Shout out to everyone that was in YouTube. I'm live on both right now. We're just talking about money, debt. Let me fix the lighting. I need to buy one of those. There we go. The lighting on my YouTube was terrible. Sorry for the extra noise in the background. But shout out to everyone joining. We're talking about becoming debt-free, financial freedom. To me, it's a mindset. It's not so much like how much you make or how much debt you have or don't have. It's like having that freedom, like things are gonna take care of itself. And if I can't take care of it, I should let it go. Like I got rid of my car after I paid for it. It was all the expenses even after I paid it off. Because it was like, oh, I'm debt free. I don't have a car payment anymore. No, actually you do. There's maintenance. And I used to drive I gave my car to my dad. So I technically still have it, but it's at their house and it's a Dodge Charger with a Hemi, strong engine. I've gone through so much with that car. And in my neighborhood, you have to have a residential sticker. So I was paying for that. I was paying for registration, parking tickets if I forgot to move it for street cleaning because I was just too tired, or being in different residential areas. When I used to have my 9 to 5, constantly got tickets over there. So half of what I was earning was going to the car. You know what I mean? That was just sitting for 8 to 10 hours in a parking lot, while I'm working my behind off just to get tickets. So, I had to buy a new engine for that car. I've gotten new tires. I remember the first week I got that car, I got a flat tire. And if you know anything about muscle cars, you know that those tires are not cheap and they're not small. So imagine like a little donut, riding around on a little donut on a big old Dodge Charger. So I just had to make cuts and sacrifices, in order to decrease some of my stress. And that financial freedom is being able to let go of the superficial things. And of course, people need, if you need a car, you need a car. But do you need, at this moment in time, as you're building yourself back up, do I need, I don't want to say you, I want to speak for myself. Like, do I need another Dodge Charger? No, I don't. Because I'm considering at the moment buying a car. I'm also considering a Vespa. No joke. Because I'm like, okay, good on parking, good on gas, under $10,000. Because the way I get around now is I'm so grateful for my community. They give me rides. Our public transportation is really decent, but it's not safe. So I can't be out here at night taking public transportation. Lyfts and Ubers are so expensive that for the last month, I've been taking more than usual because it's the summertime. So I'm going to be outside. And the cost of my Lyfts and Ubers in just 2 to 3 weeks is just as close to a car payment. So I'm almost tempted to end my no car streak and getting a car or a Vespa or something to that effect, or a scooter just to get around the city. I don't know yet, but it's fascinating because I really feel like financial freedom is more of a mindset than it is an actual number, or having a zero balance at the end of the day, or having several zeros, in your checking account, um, in the green. You know what I mean? It helps. Don't get me wrong, but if you don't know how to manage your money, you'll never be free. And if you don't know how to manage your and be disciplined with your money, you'll never be free. So it doesn't matter if you have debt. It doesn't matter if you don't have debt. If you don't know how to have a relationship as healthy as possible, because we're going to make mistakes. We're going to overspend, underspend, hoard our money, give away too much of our money. We're humans. That's a part of it. But it's more so the financial freedom of it all. Part of it is tied to the bank account. Yes. But the bigger aspect is the freedom of managing your money, being responsible, being disciplined, staying focused, and helping others as well. How are you providing value, not just in your life, but with others, to give back? And it's not required as you're building yourself up and regaining your, and trusting yourself with the money. That's a big part of it too, is learning how to trust your relationship with money, because that's also tough. You know what I mean? I had to learn. I'm actively learning, but everything I've endured, whether it was my car being repossessed, having to buy a brand new engine, or running out of money, having a lot of money. Like I said, I've been through it all. I've had a lot of money in my bank account, and I was so uneducated, and my financial literacy was just like not there. I just was like so comfortable. I was too comfortable, in fact, when I was making a lot of money, that when the pandemic hit, I was just like, oh, snap. And then also real life kicks in. I lost my grandma 1 year into being self-employed, and she was a big reason why I had quit my job. If anything, she was the number one reason I quit my job. So when she left and passed away, it was really difficult. I kept working. I kept acting as if nothing was wrong. And then 2022 hit. My other grandma passed away. And at the top of 2023, just last year, a year and a half ago, I broke down. Like, I crumbled. Like, it just felt like all of my worlds had just like fallen apart. I didn't know why I was doing anything I was doing. I didn't know why I was still working in real estate. I needed a complete change. I needed a complete shift. So the fact that I'm sitting here still working in real estate and still enjoying it and meeting you all, and being able to help you guys in this process truly is a miracle. It truly is, because there's so many times I wanted to give up, like, and just figure out a whole new job, a whole new career. And I'm so glad I didn't do that, because for some reason, I always tell people, real estate for me has been like a boomerang. I throw it away and it keeps coming back and hitting me in the head. So for some reason, it's still there. So I'm going to keep working at it. I'm going to keep giving back to, until the wheels fall off, essentially. And even when the wheels fall off, maybe I'll just get new tires. But shout out to those here on YouTube. Drop a comment so I know who I'm talking to. I would love to meet you guys. And if you have any questions about what I have been discussing, I know we're kind of bouncing all over the place. If you want to talk, have more focused conversations about specific topics, be it debt, money, financial freedom, real estate, transaction coordination, business, please join my Patreon. Let me actually pin the link in the comments. I should have done that earlier, because eventually, as more people join, we're going to have more comprehensive conversations on Patreon where they're more topic focused versus when I go live here on YouTube and TikTok. We're kind of just bouncing ideas, talking to each other, shouting each other out. And I'm just answering questions as they come. So, don't hold back, don't hesitate, but also keep it cool, keep it cordial, keep it appropriate, because I will hit that Blizzak button. So shout out to those here on YouTube. Shout out to those here on TikTok. I appreciate the love. It goes a long way. Excuse me. Wow, 50 minutes has already gone by. Oh, someone joined the Patreon. Okay, I'm still learning how to use this, so bear with me. Hey, shout out to you. That's what's up. So in my Patreon, I just worked on this last week, and it's about 10 pages long right now. It's just a Word document, but someone had reached out to me wanting to become a transaction coordinator, and I get the same questions all the time. I get the same, how do I do it? I want to do it now, right? And it's not a plug and play type of job. It's way more than that. And I finally just kind of got fed up and was like, you know what? Let me just sit here. It was a Friday evening. I was like, let me just sit here and write out everything I know step by step. If I were to get a brand new listing today, step by step, everything I would do if I had a brand new sale. And it turned out to be about 10 pages with a few templates. And I was really proud of myself because I'd been wanting to do that for so long, but I didn't take the time out to actually build I guess you would call it like a workbook or a manual or a program. I don't know, but I'm giving it to those in my Patreon as part of being in my Patreon, because a lot of you just need that guidance. It's nothing fancy. It's literally just a Word document. I might make it into like a PDF and like lock it, but other than that, I'll edit it as I go. But I just want you guys to have the answers, the keys. I want to give you guys the keys, because there's no point in holding back and then you get it wrong and then everyone's in trouble and then the buyers and sellers are liable, and it's just a mess when people don't get the proper guidance and instructions. So if I can provide that to those that really want it and need it, and are willing to show up and learn and take it serious, then of course I'll give you guys whatever you guys want, because why not? You know what I mean? But I don't want to just give all of that information out for free, because not everyone's going to know how to use it. Not everyone's going to know how to apply it. Whereas I know people in the Patreon or in my TikTok subscriptions, like, you guys are the ones that are committed. You're serious about this. So I will say that's like probably like the only gatekeeping that would ever occur is just like the exclusive content and information that you would get in my Patreon. But other than that, I share a lot for free here on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's nothing that I wouldn't talk about on social media. It just wouldn't be in like a concise, like it just wouldn't be presented in an orderly fashion, is what I was getting at. Let's see, how's TikTok doing? How's YouTube doing? But yeah, shout out to those here. We're talking about financial freedom. We're talking about learning how to become a transaction coordinator. We're talking about the changes that are happening to real estate. We're talking about business and just the mindset that is required to run a business. That's more important than that's just as important as doing the work, because you're going to do a whole bunch of work throughout the day, throughout the week, at all hours of the day, but then learning how to have boundaries, learning how to have an understanding of what you're doing, when you're doing it, what and who are your priorities. That was the word this week in my newsletter. So if you're not signed up to my newsletter, make sure you sign up for my newsletter. Just go to transactioncare.com and enter your name and your email. That's it. But every week, I send 2 emails out, actually starting this week. First email goes out every Monday, and it's pretty much just like words of encouragement, words of affirmation, um, a little bit of news and my thoughts on things, and just maybe story time, just more like um, that email has more personality. And then the second email that goes out on Wednesdays is just like a summary of events. So I also have a podcast, but I'm putting that on hold right now. And when that returns, the Wednesday email will be a link to the podcast, a link to this live stream replay, links to work with me one-on-one, to join the Patreon, more like the logistical aspects of the business and ways for you guys to keep in touch and to make sure you're watching the content as we're going, and just like a schedule of events, like what to expect, because I feel like transparency is key. Whereas like when I was kind of all over the place and I didn't really have good time management, I didn't really have a schedule, I was just going live when I felt like it. Whereas like now it's incorporated into my life, even when I'm traveling, I'm gonna try to go live. But if I'm in a meeting or I have to be away from my desk, that I'll let you guys know that I can't go live, or I'll just move the live to a later time or a later date. But for now, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I go live on TikTok and here on YouTube. So this is your opportunity to ask me questions, to share your thoughts. If you want to celebrate any of your wins that occurred this week, go ahead and drop them in the comments in the chat, because I want to hear from you guys. I want to help you guys, encourage you, uplift you, and just know it's vice versa. You guys uplift and encourage me as well. And I'm just so grateful that this is my way of giving back and helping you all, and just being being a guide in this journey, because I just know how lonely it was when I first started. There wasn't really a big community of people online that even had the bandwidth to sit here for an hour or even 2 hours and answer questions and dialogue and chat and laugh and celebrate, and say, hey, oh, you're struggling with this? Here's a resource, or join my Patreon, or hit the follow button, or send me a DM, right? None of that existed 5-6 years ago. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't exist. Let me make it exist. And I don't want to say it did not exist, because there are people that have now become my colleagues and friends within this industry that I value, and I appreciate their support for me, and their encouragement as well. And they have motivated me, they've inspired me to continue to show up. And I'm so grateful that they exist, because the couple of people that did have platforms, like Samantha Hayes, David Breckheimer, those two come to mind immediately. In the very beginning, before you would search the word transaction coordinator, maybe like 4 videos would show up, and now you Google it or you search it or look it up, and it's just like an unlimited amount of content. And now people have courses and so much, there's so much access now on how to become a transaction coordinator. But it's a whole different world when it comes to learning it and then actually applying it. It's the difference between reading the DMV book and then actually getting behind the wheel. It's that different. But I guess that's with any job, right? I think people just see me working from home, or they see other people in this industry being able to work from home, being flexible, and that's great and all, but I still take my laptop on vacation. You know what I mean? Like, not much. Okay, I don't want to downplay it, but it is nice to have that flexibility. But the work keeps going, unless you implement a working, like a business plan or a work model for yourself that includes like having a team or having assistants that will support you when you are on vacation. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm always working on different things, but I've learned to like love it. Like I love it. Like I love getting on social media and watching a video, like a training video, or reading books, or coming here on live, or um, you know, getting new transactions. I mean, that feeling is kind of fading away because I would much rather do this all day, but it's what's paying the bills. So I have to be grateful, and I still have to show up and do the work. And being in the file still allows me to it allows me to stay afloat and teach you guys, the new things that are happening, and how they're happening, and how they're unfolding. Why transactions fall out of escrow, why how to get a response when your realtors are answering your calls, your texts, your emails. You go to their broker. It's that simple. You go to their broker. You tell on them. Say, hey, haven't heard from this person in a long time. They're effing up. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes on with this career path. But once you figure it out, and once you get organized, and you know what you want out of this, and you continue to be diligent, and you continue to be disciplined in that, there's more payoff and reward that extends beyond money in this type of work. So, find work that works for you, with your skills, with your desired outcomes, with the pay, also your personality, the location, all of that. I won't ever tell anyone to quit their job unless their employers are being abusive, or racist, or sexist, or anything like that. Other than those like red flags, like super super red flags, keep your 9 to 5. Or maybe you just need a different 9 to 5, or maybe you need a raise, or maybe you need to work in a different department, or maybe you need to renegotiate your contract. But keep your 9 to 5 until you can build out your business. Allow your 9 to 5 to fund your business. You be your first investor. And because I was my first investor, for sure. I was definitely, all the money I had saved, I reinvested in myself, in my business, in my bills, to stay afloat. And I'm just so grateful that I did that for myself. And I continue to do that for myself, because that's what I want out of this, So, but oh my God, we hit an hour. So this is good. How are we doing here on TikTok? Whoa, what just happened? Swipe left to close. Oh, I didn't know that did that. That's really cool. But if you guys don't have any questions, you don't have any things you guys want to talk about, I'm going to close this out. I want to do at least 1 hour a week going live every Tuesday. We can up that if there's demand for it. But for now, all right, let's see. Let's just add them in. Someone just requested me. What is happening? How do I? Oh gosh. Someone's trying to add me on here, but shout out to everyone here on YouTube. I'm about to close this live out. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the replay and you made it this far, email me, send me a message, add me on TikTok, social media. I appreciate you all. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. And my name is Lillian Hernandez, aka Lily like the flower. Go to transactioncare.com to learn more about me and my services, and ways that we can work together, help each other out. See ya.